Gone are the days when you alone could work on data or notebooks in Databricks Free Edition. Now, you can collaborate with others, share data securely, and control exactly who can access what, even in the free version. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, That Databricks Guy. And in this video, we are going to practically explore what is fine-grained access control and lineage in Databricks. We'll see how to add user, grant and revoke access through UI and query, control what data user can see, understand how Databricks handle data security. In the previous videos, I have already explained the theory of fine-grained access control and lineage. So I suggest watching those videos first if you have not already seen. In this video, I'll not bore you with theory. I'll directly jump into the demo. So, to begin with, let us come to the homepage of Databricks Free Edition. Let us first of all add a user. To add a user, go to the settings, identity and access. In the users tab, you can click on manage and add user. I'll click on add new because I have a new user to add. I'll give another account and just add. So you see, the new user will receive an email within 5 minutes. Let's go to the Gmail of this account and see. So you see here, the other account has got an invite to join that Databricks guy. Okay, I can just simply click on join now. And if you don't have an account already on Databricks with the new user, it will create an account. And if you have the account already, it will just guide you to that new account. Now, once I've added a user, what can I do next? Since we are working on fine-grained access control, let me show you how to give the access to different namespace levels of Unity Catalog to another user. First of all, let us come to catalog, and we have already created one catalog called UC Catalog UI Dev File. Now, to give permission to other users, we can go to Permissions tab. There is an option of grant and revoke. So, since we do not have any users, we cannot revoke anything right now. We can grant. Let's grant to this principal, the new user that have added. And what all access do I have to give? Should I give all the privileges or external use schema or manage that it gives the ownership? So for now, let's go ahead with all the privileges. In all the privileges, what can a user see? User can see and use the catalog and schema under that catalog that we have selected. A user can run, execute, read and select commands, and as the new user can edit and the new user can create. And all of these will happen under the catalog that we have selected and giving access. Now for the second user, I'm opening another Databricks tab with the login credentials of second user. And these are the credentials of second user, and it will ask for a verification code. Let me just put a verification code here. Once verified, I'll click on this user, that Databricks guy, because I want to share the data and notebooks with that user. If I want, I could also create a separate one. Now in the catalog, you see there's only one catalog which is visible because we have given access only on this catalog. And under this catalog, we'll be able to see everything what this catalog holds. For example, the schema, the tables, the volumes, everything. And if we click on the table, we'll be able to see the sample data, permissions, details of it, and basically everything that is there under this catalog. So this is one of the way to grant the access. In the permissions tab, you will be able to see that we have given piyushtdg@gmail.com all the privileges. Fine. The same way we can revoke the access. I come back to the original account. I click on this, and if I just click on revoke, it will revoke all the access. Okay. Now this is one way to give the entire access. But this catalog can have multiple volumes and multiple tables and many more things inside it. And if we do not want to give access to all of these, if we want to give access to only one of the table, What I can do, I can go to the table, click on permissions. Again, through UI, the thing is same. I select the account user, who I want to give access, and I can give either only select thing, or modify or apply tags, or all privileges. Okay, but since we have revoked the access to the catalog, it asks for additional privileges, because this table that we are trying to give access on lies inside a catalog. So it says additional privileges required to use the catalog. It only uses the catalog. It does not give the all privilege access on that catalog or schema. It says only use catalog or use a schema. We are giving all privileges only to the table. Okay. So if we go ahead and confirm this, now that we have given all the privilege only on the table, you see the difference. Under this catalog and schema, we are not able to see anything else. Earlier, we were able to see volumes as well. But now we only see this table, and permission says that all the privileges to this table. Now that we have all the privileges on this table, we can go ahead and perform the query as per our need. So let us start with select star. I need to select the SQL. So you see, we have all the data. We can see all the data. If we want, we can perform some DML operations as well on this table. For example, delete from this table where customer ID equal to C001. If we had only the select privilege on the table, we would not be able to do this. But since we have all the privileges, we would be able to do this. Now you see, 3 rows are removed from this data. Can we drop this table? Let's see. No, right? Because we have all the privileges, but we do not have drop privilege. So we don't have the access to drop the table. The access to drop the table will be given by granting the owner access. There is an option of manage. So if the owner grants the manage access, then we will be able to drop the table as well, because the new user will become the owner of this table then. Okay. So I may request, and if the request is approved, then that can happen. Or the original owner can directly give, as we have seen, the all privilege access was given. Similarly, manage access can also be given through UI. So I have given the manage access from the original owner. Now let us see if we can drop the table or not. Okay, so the table is dropped, and you should not be able to see the table anymore. Once refreshed, you will not be able to see the table. Okay, so this is how we do it using UI. Now let us see how to do more fine-grained access control using SQL, because more people prefer writing query rather than using UI. Okay, so now let us see fine-grained access control through query. For that, I'm creating a table. We've already seen how to create a table. I'm quickly creating a table through UI only in a different catalog, UC Dev SQL. Inside that, we have a schema, UC schema SQL, and inside this schema, I'm creating a table from the data that I already have. So you see, I have a sales data, and I'm creating a table using this data. So once the clusters start, it shows you the sample data. And once you click on create table, the table gets created inside the catalog and schema which we have chosen. Okay, so inside the schema, we see table 1 as sales. Now, I've created a notebook, and I've rewritten some of the commands for demoing the fine-grained access control. So this table contains 10 records with these many columns. Now, we have seen through UI how to grant the access on catalog, schema, and table. I'm doing the same using the query. So for doing that through query, we have a command grant use catalog on catalog this. Okay, I'm only giving the use access so that I can give, select, or modify or manage privilege to a user on a particular table which is inside that catalog and schema. Okay, so grant use catalog on catalog this to user. Okay, just running this command, it says okay. So this user would have got the use catalog permission. Let's go back and give the access on a particular table inside this catalog and schema. So I'm giving grant select, only select access on the table to this user. So let's run this. It says okay. Till here we have seen through UI as well. But now let's go ahead and do a column masking from this user. So if I want to hide a particular column or hide the values of a particular column from this user, how can I do this? I can create a function mask amount and apply this function on the table. So you see, create or replace the function on column. I'm applying this mask amount function on the column amount when the current user is this. Then show S star else the amount. So I want to hide the amount only from this user. So I've given this. And then I have to alter the table, alter table name, and alter column amount, set mask as mask amount function. Okay. So when I run both of these, it says okay. So now let's come back to the different user, the other user that we are using or granting access to. Here you will be able to see the other catalog on which we have given the permission, the scheme, and the table inside it. Let's see. Now in this table, we have done masking on one of the column. So I'm selecting the data to see, and here you see all the data, but the column amount is masked. Okay. So this is one of the good example of fine-grained access control. Let's see one more thing now. If you want to hide a column completely, so hiding a column completely is not possible right away in the table, but you can do that using a view. So you can create a view with required columns and grant access to that view. So if you would like to practice that, please go ahead and practice, and would like you to put the query by creating a view and granting the access to that view to a particular user in the comment section. So if you are attempting this, please go ahead and write the query in the comment section. Now, as we have discussed in the theory section, we can hide a particular row as well from a user if we want. But in this case, we do not just mask the row, we hide the row completely. And this can be done on the table itself. So similar to the previous function, we create a function filter product. I'm applying the function of on product column. And when the current user is this, then product not equal to laptop, else false. So if the current user is this, then do not show product laptop. Run this, alter table name, set row filter with the filter name function on the column. This is the query to apply the filter. Okay, so I've applied the filter. Coming back to other user. Now that we have filtered one of the row using function, let's see what do we get after that. So the query is running, and here you see only 9 rows. The row with the product as laptop is no more visible to this user. Now coming back to the original notebook, if you want to revoke the access, we can simply say revoke select on table from the user. So if I do this and go back and run the select command now, insufficient privileges. User is not able to access that. Now we can do, now similar to grant select, we can give grant select modifier on the table, or we can grant all the privileges. Okay. So let's try this. Grant select and modify. Now that we have given the modify privilege as well, the other user will be able to perform any DML operations similar to the delete operation that we have seen earlier. Okay, now instead of just select modify, we can also give all privileges to the different users like this. And if we see the permissions tab, you'll be able to see that this user has got all the privileges. Now, if you want to make the other user as owner of this table, you can simply do it by altering the table and giving owner to the new user. If I just run this, but remember, one table can have only one owner at a time. So if you give this owner permission to someone else, the owner permissions from yourself will be revoked. So now if we describe this table using this command describe extended, it will show us the details of this table and the owner details as well. So you see all the details of this table, and in the owner name we have the new user name. Okay, and the new user can perform any operations that an owner can perform. So that was fine-grained access control. Now let us move to the next section of this video, that is understanding the lineage. We have already covered the theory of lineage in previous videos. So let me directly dive into the demo of it. It is a very simple topic, and there's nothing much to explain in it. Just that I want to show you how the lineage of any of the object looks like and why is it useful. Okay, so let me select one of the tables that I've already created earlier and I've worked upon it. I can go to the Catalog Explorer, click on the table and look for the lineage tab on it. It's as simple as that. If you want to see the lineage of this table, you will be able to see all the places where it is used. Now you see there are two directions to it. One is downstream, one is upstream. So what basically is it? But before that, let me just give you a one-liner for lineage. So what lineage actually is, lineage is an automated map that tracks the origin, movement and transformation of your data from its source to the final destination. So as you see here, there are multiple places this table has been used. So when we see upstream, upstream refers to the data sources and parent process that feed into an object. So when you see an upstream, that means this employees is the source for our employee one table in some way. Okay, maybe our table employee one is created from this table, or it is used, this table is used in our employee one table. So that's why it says upstream. And downstream, so downstream refers to the consumer and the dependent object that rely on that object. So all these objects like employee Z and this notebook, employee P, all these depends on the employee one table somehow. It uses employee one table or are created using the employee one table. Okay, so that is how we track the lineage of any of the object. We can also see lineage graph from here. See lineage graph. This is a simple way to look at the lineage of the table. You can see your table at the center, which is the source to the table. It shows on the left, and this table is used as source for which of the object that can be seen on the right. So that's how you can track the complete lineage of any object in Databricks. Okay, so I hope this was clear for you. If you have any questions or comments, do let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video where we will explore medallion architecture using Unity Catalog. Till then, do like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, That Databricks Guy. See you in the next one. Until then, let's build something intelligent.